Hi guys, and welcome back to my next video. Before I start, I just want to say that anyone that is not familiar with my video series, there is no point to watching this video. You won't have any way of understanding what I'm talking about. I'm only making this video for what's becoming my very supportive and growing quickly subscribers. In short, I'm a dude with a disability. I have severe brain injury. I had a wife for 8 years. She took gross advantage, illegally, unquestionably, unlawfully breaking laws of my rights and abusing myself to take 100% control of all of our assets and all of our son that we acquired together in 8 years of relationship and marriage. She has everything, even my own property before I ever met her in my life, 100%, and I have nothing. I have 0%. I have not one single dollar of any form of property settlement or child custody matter, and my wife has kept everything, which should never been allowed to happen. If I was the world's worst person who was bad at everything, and my wife had left me, what is just over 2 years ago now, it should have been impossible for her to ever gain full control to 100% of our assets that both of us had acquired in any point of our entire life, not even just the marriage, and our son 100%. That should never have been possible. The only reason why I have not seen my son in 2 years, and the only reason why I have not received one single percent of a separation settlement rights to entitlements, property and money, is because my rights have factually, nothing to do with myself or opinion, factually been grossly abused, and my minimum rights have been illegally not upheld. I'll say that again very slowly and carefully. This is not my personal opinion I'm giving. I'm giving fact. It's a fact. Laws that protect my minimum rights and my suggested minimum forms of entitlement to property, child and money when we separate has factually not been upheld. The laws have been broken, which has entitled my wife to walk away with 100% control of our son and a 100% control of all of our money, even money, assets I gained, belongings in my entire life, 26 years before I met the woman. She has everything. Whatever she didn't want, she threw away, again, illegally. I had literally 400 hours worth of my paintings that I do. I'm a professional artist. I have current NDIS workers helping me begin to sell my paintings professionally again for the first time in 9 years. Hundreds and hundreds of hours worth of paintings I did before I met my wife. She took such gross abuse advantage of my intellectual disability that the moment she decided our marriage and our relationship was over, she just kicked me out the house quite literally, told me I had to hide or I'd get arrested, made me homeless, kept all of my belongings. I had more belongings than she had, and she kept everything, and has made up false illegal claims about myself, which I've been unable to understand how to reply to with my intellectual disability, and I can't do paperwork. And she has falsely incriminated me and made me suffer in extreme pain for the last 2.5 years. My pain has been so extreme that I myself, not being Christian, but liking parts of Christianity, went to my wife's church for 2 years, and in that 2 years of the church that she ran away from her own lies and shame, she hides from the pastor of that church, who now knows me much better than herself. My wife went to a church, we'll call it Orange Mountain Church, a made-up name, just so you get the idea. She went to Orange Mountain Church for 1.5 years, and she is a devoted Christian girl. After she illegally broke my rights and took my belongings and my son, everything away from myself, and kicked me out and made me homeless, and begun making up illegal false claims about myself, as part of her running away from myself and making many a mountain of false claims that's going to come back and bite her, she knew that she had to evacuate her church. She needed to play dumb and innocent, and she needed to run away and hide from all her lies. So that's what she did. She picked herself up and she left the church, we'll call Orange Valley Church or whatever I said, and she ran away to a new church, we'll call B Church. I was so upset and depressed, thinking of the end of my life, missing my wife, my son and all my property, that I went back to my wife's previous church, which we'll call Orange whatever. And at Orange whatever church, I very slowly, and very intimidated by what I may look like to the pastor of that church, I introduced myself to him slowly. And we'll call him Bobby for privacy reasons. I said, "Pastor Bobby, you may know me as the big scary guy," which I said in better words, of course. I introduced myself to him very slowly, and I went to the church for 3 weeks. And on the 3rd or 4th weekend of going to the church on Sunday, telling people that I'm not Christian and I'm just there because I do like parts of church, I explained to the pastor Bobby that my wife was lying about me horrifically, breaking laws, falsely incriminating me, scaring me, giving me nightmares, making it too hard for me to go to sleep at night, stopping me from seeing my son with psychotic control, and illegally keeping 100% of our assets, even my own personal belongings that I had acquired in my entire life before I even met my wife. I told Pastor Bobby about this, and I was shocked. He didn't tell me to go away. He didn't tell me I was scary. He didn't tell me I was too blunt and straightforward like these videos are. He believed me, and he supported me. Thank you, Pastor Bobby. I wish I could say your real name to show true respect and thankfulness for you, but I can't because I have legalities and privacy reasons. So Pastor Bobby, he took me in, and I went to his church for the next 2 years. Not because I was religious in any way whatsoever, but because I was terrified of my wife, and terrified of what she could do to me, and terrified she could keep my son away from me forever, terrified she could put me in jail, terrified she could keep all my money and my belongings and there would be no form of separation settlement. Explaining all of this to Pastor Bobby very carefully, who I will add was not an ordinary pastor. He's a very modern, new age, intelligent pastor, and about 80% of the time that he would give his church sessions on Sundays, the reason why I love this guy so much as a pastor, even though I'm not religious myself, is because he wouldn't talk brain dead about worshipping a fictional character. He would talk factually about people's real life events and things like separation from partners, commitment to partners, drugs, alcohol, theft, violence, crime, loving, giving, how you should feel at work, how you should talk to your partner, how you can love and respect everyone around you. He was more like 80%, this pastor, we'll call Pastor Bobby, he was awesome. He was really cool. He didn't just brain dead worship some fictional character that I would hate and find really uncomfortable and say, "God this, God please save us, God please wipe our asses, God please let us worship you." He didn't do any of that crap. He did that a little bit, like I'd say 20%. The other 80% of the time, he was just a high IQ, intelligent guy who just said, like, "Dr. Phil, do this, respect this, give this. The more you give, the more you receive. The more confident you are with yourself, the better your life will be because you're happier. The more nicer you are to other people, the more better your life would most likely be because those people would give stuff back and be more respectful to you. And if they didn't, your life would still be better because you're more happy with yourself in confidence." This Pastor Brendan was correct, and he was reading my mind. He's an awesome guy. And yeah, I kept going to his church that my wife had gone to previously for 2 years. And in that time, I went from this falsely claimed domestic violence husband who does not deserve to see his son and does not deserve to even be respected by his wife as a previous partner and does not deserve to have any of his assets or his money or his belongings returned to him. I went from that to, again, on the life of my child. The pastor said to me many, many times, "I'm sorry for your situation, Danny, I will pray for you. And your wife is a terrible, evil person." And I was shocked, and I said to the pastor about minimum of 3, maybe 4 times, separated over 12 months, I said, "Pastor Bobby, please don't say that. My wife has done an incredible amount of bad things to me, and she has broken the law, and I have suffered in pain incredibly over the last 2 years while you've been helping me, but I still don't blame my wife, and I still don't blame her for anything. I still don't hate her. I think it's unfortunate mental control of my wife's mother and religious mind control and manipulation. My wife has broken the laws, and she has falsely damaged me, falsely incriminated me, made false claims to keep all the money, false claims to keep my son away from me never-endingly for the last 2 years. But Pastor Bobby, I don't blame my wife. I think she's only doing it because she believes everything her mother tells her, which is that her God is saying that everything she's doing is right, and that breaking laws and lying is correct by the Bible in their own weird way. So I'm not sure if any of you guys even understood what I was trying to explain. It's very difficult, but in short, my wife was raised, that I was in a relationship with for 8 years. She was raised in an extremely one-of-a-kind way with homeschooling, and the mother taught my wife everything she knows. And I said to my wife when I first met her as a boyfriend and a girlfriend, I said to my wife in the early stages of our relationship, within the first 3 months, I said to my wife, who was a girlfriend at the time, one day, I said, honey, were you homeschooled by any chance? And my wife said to me, wow, that's amazing. How did you know that? And I said to my wife, at the time girlfriend, lucky guess. And then I said to my same person, in the same conversation, did your mum and dad meet at the same church by any chance? And my wife again said, wow, that's amazing. How did you know that? And then I said, step 3, was your mum and dad knowing each other for several years before they got married? Or were they possibly suggested to get married by the pastor of your church that your family went to for many years? And you guessed it, my wife said, wow, that is amazing. How did you know that? You get the idea. That is insane cult-like behavior. So I said to my wife, honey, don't get upset. You don't have to do all these things. This form of Christianity is not normal. It's incredibly hardcore and unusual. People don't do this stuff. Your mum and dad should never have met at the same church and been suggested to marry by someone else, and a mountain of other things. And you should never have needed to think for yourself that you need to remain a virgin at the age of 26. Your mum has controlled you disgustingly in a way that she could possibly be put in jail for. The way that you don't even know the movie Titanic, that you don't know who Leonardo DiCaprio is, that you don't know who the Transformers are, that you don't know who the Ninja Turtles are, that you don't know who the Spice Girls are. The way that you've never watched the movie Jaws, you've never seen or heard of the movie Terminator, you've never seen or heard of the movie Babe, Never-endingly, the movie Grease, what else? Just about any single movie, Aliens, Predator, When Harry Met Sally. My wife had not seen any of them. Zero, nothing, absolutely nothing. My eyes just nearly, my eyebrows nearly flew off the back of my head. I said, honey, I'm so sorry, but you don't understand. Your mum has really kept you out of the real world. Your mum is abusive. Your mum is psychologically unstable. And the way that she has taught you Christianity is child abuse. The way that you're a virgin at the age of 26 and you've never had a single boyfriend, that's child abuse. One more to prove myself that I'm not full of shit and I'm not some angry ex-hater of a previous partner, just I'm a witness. My wife, early on in our relationship, I would say, in all these family photographs you have of yourself, your mother and your father and all your sisters, why do you all have the same haircut? And why are you all wearing the same weird clothing like your, 15-year-old girls that go to a private school, college? Why are you in this weird frilly zigzag dress thing, old, primary school girl outfit? Why are you wearing that? Some of you are 16 in the photo, one of you looks 20, one looks 24, one looks 28, and the oldest one looks 32. Why are you and all your sisters of different ages, greatly different ages, all wearing this exact same outfit in the family photograph? And my wife said, because our mum told us we had to. And then I said, and why is your hair so short? And why does your hair look exactly the same as all your sisters of different ages? Your ages are like 18 years different from one another. And my wife said, because mum cuts our hair in the kitchen. Mum chooses our clothing. Mum homeschooled us. Are you getting the point? This relationship that I had that came to an end with my wife, it didn't come to an end because anything was good or bad about me or my wife. It didn't come to an end because I wasn't an excellent father. It didn't come to an end because of domestic violence. It came to an end because of a psychotic, disgusting mother who illegally, endlessly, with 20 different laws that have been broken, illegally raised her, my wife, and all her sisters in a way that is not legal. It's not my personal opinion. It is a fact. The way in which my wife was raised as the fourth out of 5 sisters, sorry, the third place oldest out of 5 sisters, is illegal. The mum was not allowed to do everything she did. The mum was so psychotically controlling that in the early days of having a relationship with my wife, later wife, one of the very first times when we started dating, my wife said to me, Danny, I'll come on a camping trip with you and your best friend, and we're going to go to Victoria, and we're going to do this new rock climbing hobby that you've shown me, Danny. I love you, and we're going to go climb a mountain. Get this, my friend, who was going to be my future wife and stay together for 8 years and have a son with, she said, Danny, you can't really come into my house. When you come to pick me up, and you and your best friend are going to drive me to Victoria, and we're going to climb Mount Arapiles in our rock climbing hobby we love together as 3 best friends, you have to park down the street. And again, I'm so dumb and innocent and loving this girl, I just didn't see any warning signs. I just said, okay. Then really, really stupid, I said, hey, my friend Esther, this girl I've got a crush on, can I please come use your toilet at your parents' house where you live with your sisters? Because I'm really busting to go to the toilet. And my future wife said, I'd prefer you didn't. I'd prefer you just remain sitting in the car. I said, I really need to go. She said, fine, come knock on my front door and come in my house. Big mistake. This is where the beginning of this psychotically controlling mother becomes clear. Everything I'm saying is 100% fact. I don't give a fuck if I get arrested. I don't care if I go to court. I'm exposing the truth. Fuck you, mother-in-law. You're a disgusting child abuser. The way in which you raised your daughters is not my personal opinion being good or bad. It's illegal. The way that you psychotically cut all your daughters' hairs and don't let them go to a shopping centre to cut their own hair, that's a form of child abuse. The way in which every single one of your daughters was a virgin and the oldest one was 43 years old and still a virgin, that's not a coincidence. That's child abuse. The way in which my girlfriend, my future wife, said to me, I'm 26 years old and my mum says I can't have keys to my house. I just have to be home on time. And I can't hang out with boys. And I just have to go to work and come home. And I can't have male friends until after I'm married and given away to a man. Child abuse. You're a disgusting psychopathic Christian woman that belongs in jail for long-term child abuse. My son, no matter anything I do about my son, my mother-in-law, I tell you now, nothing related to me in any way whatsoever, just facts of Australia, freedom and logic. My son is going to hate your guts one day when he grows up. He will hate you with a passion because he knows that everything I'm saying is true and everything you are saying is false and manipulative, using religion as a weapon to destroy people's lives and try and make your own better. Anyway, I'll try and end the video and return to a bit of a point before I go. Yeah, the only reason why me and my wife are separated is because of this mother and psychotic religious control, using mental control. And my wife is already with another man in the flash. Within 2.5 months of my wife saying that our 8-year relationship was over, she went to a new church. I was heavily supported by the pastor of her previous church, and even her best friend, my wife's best friend I had little to do with for our entire relationship, became more of a friend to me than my wife. Because not only had my wife run away from me, she'd also run away from her church, the pastor, and her previous best friend in restarting a new life. That's how much the mother had psychotic control over her daughter. She convinced her daughter to upend her life, leave her husband, leave her previous church, leave her pastor, not talk to him, leave her previous friend, not talk to her. And my wife's best friends were asking me, Danny, where's your wife gone? We'll just call her Betty. Theoretical name. Where's Betty gone? And I said to the friends, Betty's mum kind of pinched her and took her from this church, your church, and took her to a new church. And Betty's mum told Betty to be scared of me and hate me. and to place charges against me, make false illegal claims, not let me see my son, not let me see her, not let me have 1% of our belongings, even the stuff I had before I ever met her. And I'll end this video in a sec, but the final thing I want to say is people can say things like this in videos, and they can suggestively be a man who can't accept that a woman left him, stereotypically. And he could be abusing blame and control over his wife that he dominated and controlled. And he could be upset that one day he didn't get to continue the dominance and the control. And he could be bitching and complaining about things that are false from his own perspective. But I'm not. I am just saying all I wanted was people with law books to uphold minimum rights. And if I was the world's worst person with any form of claims against myself, if I was in the Hells Angels and I got several convictions from selling drugs, I believe I should still have some form of guaranteed minimum rights to my son. And it should have been impossible for my son to be kept away from me for the last 2 years and a bit, 26, 27 months now. And I have not seen my son once in over 2 years. I have not been allowed to write him letters. I've not been allowed to do anything. I can't come visit somewhere. I can't even have a supervised visit in some sort of building where you get locked up in a room and you're watched with a video camera. I can't even have that. I can't write my son letters. I can't make phone calls. I can't send emails. I can't buy him presents. I can't send him a card in the letterbox. Every single thing you can possibly imagine as any way imaginable I could communicate with my son for half of his life. He just turned 4 a few days ago. I was very traumatized by that and I made a video about it. It's all been taken away from me. And I'm not a normal average guy. I'm a great dad. I'm the person that's wanted my children to be so many and so happy one day. I wanted to be the stay-at-home mother, which is now modern father. And I told all my primary schools that with confusion from the age of 10. I said during a lunch break once, when the boys and the girls were fighting with one another, they were doing that real common thing we've all had in primary school. The boys said, my dad's the hardest worker, he's a truck driver. My dad's the hardest worker, he's a lawyer. And then all the girls said, my mum's the hardest worker because she doesn't work 9 to 5. She has to work all day long cleaning the house. And when she's finished cleaning the house, she has to take us to school. When she picks us up from school, she has to make dinner. Before she goes to bed, she has to do the washing and hang up the washing on the clothesline. My mum works 24/7. So all the girls said, my mum is the hardest worker. All the boys said, my dad is the hardest worker. And then me, because I'm a big tall guy, and in every one of my year levels, I've always been the tallest one in my year level. They said to me, Danny, what do you think? And I said, I don't know. I'm really confused. I feel I'm a bit weird and strange myself. For some reason I don't understand. I don't want to be the truck driver, Dad. I don't want to go to work at Holden's factory and build cars. I don't want to be a truck driver. I don't want to be a lawyer. For some strange reason, boys and girls of my age, at the age of 10, I don't understand. I want to stay home. I want to be like the mum. I want to look after the kids. I want to change their diapers, even though they're smelly. It's kind of fun in some way. I want to teach them how to walk. I want to point at things and say what it is. That's a tall tree. You can climb it. That's a bird. That's called a seagull. You can throw them chips at the beach and they make funny noises. I want to teach my children how to ride bikes, how to take them camping. Do you get the idea? For reasons I can't explain, from the age of 10, I've wanted absolutely nothing except to be the stay-at-home father, which back then was the mum. And I wanted the woman to go work the boring 9 to 5 job and her to earn all the cash, and I thought staying at home and changing diapers and doing laundry and washing and making dinner, I love cooking. I thought that was fun. So I'm not this stereotypical wife abuser who thinks he's powerful and stronger than his wife and wants to tell her what to do. I'm the gigantic 6'1" softie who has nightmares nearly every night because of my wife's false illegal claims about myself. I go to McDonald's fast food. If you look at my previous videos in my new change of address, I go there nearly every single night, unable to sleep because of how traumatized I am by having all my stuff taken away from me. I've not seen my son not one single time or been able to speak to him on a telephone as I described, not once in over 2 years, 26 months, 27 months. And it's really damaging. It's so mentally damaging. I have no self-esteem left. I can't get scared of people anymore. I can't feel embarrassed anymore. It's traumatizing. If a group of bikies turned up on the road just over here and they got off and they wanted to throw themselves around and say that they're big and strong, I wouldn't be scared of them. And I'm not saying that egotistically. I'm saying that is that I'm very upset of how much my wife has illegally been able to break me and abuse me and destroy my feelings and my heart, and I have nothing left for myself, no form of desire, no form of dignity, no form of self-respect. She is the long-term abuser of myself, not me to her, and I am the one that deserves to have my son. I am the one that deserves to have more custody of my son than her. I am the person that understands how to be nice to people and to raise my son tremendously more calm and intelligently than my wife, who is an aggressive cult member pretty much. I still love and respect her. It's not her fault. She is in pretty much a cult-like church with following her mother's beliefs, but that's not her fault. It's only because she knew nothing until the day she was born, and she only believed, absorbed, and agreed with what her mum taught her. It's her mother's fault for her being the way she is. She's with a new man already, and because I'm the nice, open-minded guy, I don't care. I'm the really rare 1 in 200 guy that doesn't care about the new partner. If I saw the new partner, I'd introduce myself politely. If he felt uncomfortable talking to me, I would say something very bold and straightforward. Don't worry about it, mate. If you're sleeping with my wife, it's over. If you love her, that's great. Look after her. If you feel uncomfortable around me, don't feel uncomfortable around me. You're not an enemy to me. I don't hate you. There's nothing wrong with you. You're just a guy looking for a woman and you found one. If you love my wife of the past, that's fine. And I wouldn't even be angry with my wife. I'm just angry with this psychotic mother-in-law that convinced my wife to destroy my entire life and keep me and my son separate from one another with false illegal claims and psychotic control of my wife's mind, making her paranoid and break down crying many times. It's not figurative. My wife would do that, and my wife was mentally broken by her mother. After me being kicked out of the family pretty much because I'm not Christian, the mother would ring up my wife many times whilst we are lying in bed. I'm here and my wife is here lying side by side in bed, and hour after hour after hour and many phone calls, I could hear my mother-in-law referring to me as the devil. And she'd say to my wife, false fictional name, Betty, "Betty, I'm the mother. Betty, are you still with Danny? Because you know he's possessed by the devil and he's not Christian. Danny cannot control his actions. Danny cannot do this. Danny cannot do that. But it's not Danny's fault, it's the devil. Because the devil is inside Danny, you and your son need to leave Danny. You need to stop loving Danny, and you need to come back to us, your mother and your father, and save your soul from the devil and loving the devil, and save your son from his father, who is the devil and possessed by the devil." I swear on the life of my son, I am not making that up. My mother-in-law is so child abusive and mentally insane. She said that to my wife a minimum of 40 times that I personally heard just while lying next to her in bed when the mum would ring up at night time. So logically, she probably said that to my wife over 200 times until she eventually broke down and agreed with her mother to stop seeing me. I'm gonna go now, and anyone that thinks anything bad about me, you go for it. I'm just telling you, I factually don't have feelings anymore. I can't be embarrassed. I find it difficult to get angry. I find it difficult to be happy. I find it impossible to understand if I can love another person. I find it impossible to get back into dating. I'm worn out. I just need my son back, and I want work and employment, but I'm just being looked after by the government on NDIS, not helping me get my son back because it's too personal. They just say, get a family member, get a friend. If you don't have a family member or a friend that can spend so much time helping you get legal rights back of a property settlement and your son, we're sorry. I spent all day today bitching to my NDIS provider saying I might need to look for a different NDIS provider if you can't help me get my son back and obtain my minimum factual legal rights. Not what I want, just get what I'm meant to have. I said that to my NDIS provider endlessly. I said, we'll call her again, we'll call her Tiffany. I said, Tiffany, I'm not angry at you. I'm not telling you you have to get me anything. I'm telling you fact. I'm a dad, I had a wife, I have a son, and it was hundreds of thousands of dollars, and we're together for 8 years. I'm telling you factually, I'm meant to receive some part of that. Even if it's really, really, really unlucky, and even if it's decimal place, it's still not possible that my wife just gets to keep our son 100%, and it's not possible that she gets to keep 100% of all of our assets during our 8-year marriage and relationship, and before all my belongings before we even met for 26 years. It's not possible. There's no one alive that gets to keep 100% of everything, the wife, and the husband gets nothing. No son, no belongings, nothing. It's not possible. That's only from breach of law and minimum rights. I said that to my NDIS provider, and I said to her, are you going to help me, or are you not capable of it? If you're not capable of it, can you please tell me where else I can go and where I can seek the help? So that's the situation I'm stuck in, guys. I just spoke to my NDIS provider many times today. She'll probably ring me back in a second. And I said to her, thank you, you're excellent. You got me this budget of $180,000 NDIS support. I don't want it. I want my son. I want a decimal place, 8% of my assets of a 8-year marriage and relationship. She can keep 92% for all I care. I just want some of it, a little bit. It's illegal for her to keep everything. I want to see my son with excessively overboard supervised visits. I want to drive my car to Adelaide and go into a place that looks like a prison with locked doors and security cameras like in movies. And I want to sit down at the desk and draw pictures with my son with even the suggestion that I'm some sort of axe murderer. That's fine, as long as I get to see my son, because I love my son and miss him so much, I'll do that. But me having nothing, no money, not a cent, and I don't get to see my son in any way imaginable for over 2.5 years, that's not my opinion. That's factually a gross abuse of any Australian's rights, and this should never have been allowed to take place. If I was completely mentally incompetent and I had killed 2 people, there still should be no way imaginable on how, if I kept making requests and applying for things and begging for help, how I could never have received a single dollar from a relationship of 8 years with someone, and she keeps everything. And there still should be, if I was the axe murderer in jail, there should still be no possible way in which I'm not able to have any form of contact with my birth son, my child. I still should have had minimum rights. As a guy that's in jail for killing 20 people, I should still have rights to write a letter or something, and to have my son be allowed to write back if he wants to. But my rights have been grossly abused, and women in Australia have become too powerful, and women in Australia need to have the laws put back a bit what they used to be more than 7 years ago, such as if you claim a form of abuse or a claim that you're hard done by, how there has to be a legal process gone through to determine what's true and what's false, overly emotional claims, and what's illegal, and what you can get in trouble for. Not just believe everything the woman says, take everything away from the guy, and give the guy with intellectual disability no form of reply to all the claims for 2.5 years. Nothing. No reply. Everything she says gets listened to, and they go with it. Me, they don't even ask for a reply. They just get me a minimum wage, free lawyer, and Legal Services Commission South Australia. That lawyer talks to me in no way whatsoever, doesn't collect any form of evidence or information, doesn't ask me any questions on how to be represented, and somehow legally forfeits all my rights. And I've now been without my wife for over 2.5 years, and I don't have one single dollar of all of our assets that we required in the entire 8-year relationship. I don't have one single dollar of my personal belongings returned to me that I developed for years before I even met her. And I have not seen my son for one single day in 2.5 years. It doesn't matter who I am. It doesn't matter if you agree with me. It doesn't matter if you feel sorry for me. It doesn't matter if I'm mentally insane. That should not have been possible. That's why I'm making these videos. Not just for myself, but for other people out there that need to become aware of this. And we need to start voting. We need to start electing people that can change this and realize how dangerous the laws have become that just give women too much control. When the relationship is over, she can put the guy in jail just by saying something. When the relationship is over, she can take all the money just by saying something. When the relationship is over, she can instantly start seeing someone else and never allow the dad to see the child ever again. Since I've become single to my wife, I did a little bit of dating, and I bumped into another woman who I felt more sorry for her previous partner than I was interested or feeling sorry for the woman. The woman that I met had 3 children, a little boy and then an older sister and an oldest sister. And this woman I dated, it freaked me out. She did the same thing. When I asked where's the father, she just said he's bad, he's abusive. And I said, what about the children? Do you let the girl I'm dating, do you let the dad see the kid, the dad see his children? And she said no. And I said, where is he? And she said, I ran away, I'm hiding from him, he doesn't know where I live. I said to this woman, I said, are you doing that legally? And she said, I don't know. Do you get it? I then felt more sorry for the ex-husband who suggested to be an abuser of herself than I felt sorry for her. Because I thought, maybe he was bad, maybe he abused you. But it's a factual law that you can't run away with your kids and not allow him to know where you are. You have to give him some form of possibility of seeing his 2 daughters and his 1 son one day. I said to her, would you like me to help you with supervised visits? There's a place in Adelaide in the city called Uniting Communities, and they offer free counselling services and so on. I said to the single woman, the mother of 3, who's hiding from her husband, who started dating me for a short period of time, I said to her, do you want me to help you get an appointment with United Communities in the city in the middle of Adelaide, and someone like your oldest daughter could have free sessions, and your oldest daughter, who looks like she's emotionally damaged and unsure of her own personality from trauma that I'm seeing with my eyes, she can talk about if she misses her dad or not. And she can talk about if she wants assistance in getting supervised visits with her dad that's suggestively a big bad guy. But the mum just said, no, that's fine. I'll just keep my children. I'll keep all 3 of my children, and I've decided the father will have nothing to do with their future life. You get the idea. So I wasn't really able to have any form of attraction after that, unfortunately, with the woman. But I felt so sorry for the 3 children that possibly are being kept away from a father that's possibly a good guy, that I continued the relationship with the woman a little bit, and I just tried to get her to act professionally and get professional advice and not make these hardcore aggressive choices for herself with extreme paranoia and hate, which is I kind of think what my wife did to me. So I felt sorry for the other guy more than I felt sorry for the woman. Hopefully you guys will not beat me up for that, and you'll understand what I'm talking about. Maybe he is a big bad guy, maybe I'm a big bad guy, but you can't just take kids away from a dad without doing anything. There has to be a process, and you can't keep all of the assets of your entire life without going through some process. Somehow I don't understand. All my rights have just been legally forfeited somehow. My wife just makes a claim and bang, nothing, bang, no kids, bang, no money. 3 years go past just about. How is this possible, Australia? How are you not protecting men's rights? Why is a woman the only one that needs rights? Why is a woman the only one that can be a victim? My wife quickly settled down 2.5 months after leaving me and settled down with a new partner. He moved into my house. I am so traumatized that 2.5 years after my wife leaving me and not letting me see my son, it's difficult for me to get to sleep every single night after 2.5 years. I'm the person victim. I'm the person extremely traumatized. I'm the person who's an excellent father that can't see his son. Sorry guys, but you get the idea. It's a very detailed, long story, and I could talk forever. It's been 38 minutes I've been carrying on about this. To anyone out there that thinks I'm crazy, I'm sorry. Don't watch my videos anymore. Give me the thumbs down. But so far, when I've posted these videos, and trying to keep them shorter than this, sorry, people have been incredibly supportive of me and making me feel stronger and to keep fighting. And they've made me do what I did today, which is wake up early, have your coffee, and start making phone calls. Start bitching and complaining. Start writing down notes. Start booking appointments. Start getting legal advice. Write down the notes. Pursue the notes and find out in Australia, the magnificent country I'm in, find out what is my minimum rights in this magnificent country I live in. And if I work really hard, can I get my son back in a flash? And can I get my money back? I think I can. And that's why I'm doing this. And that's why I'm doing these videos. And I'm not going to give up. I did have a lot of emotional stress before now. And I was just lying in bed rotting pretty much. But now that it's been so long without my son, I'm going to fight for you, my son JJ. You'll be proud of your daddy one day. Mummy might watch this video. Mummy might try and report me to police. Mummy might try and get me put in jail. But I haven't mentioned Mummy's name. I've said a wife, and that theoretically could be someone else. It could be anyone. And my wife is so psychotic, she claims we were never even married. So if I'm talking about a wife, it's not you, honey. It's some other person. You get the point? I'm not going to shut up. I'm not going to not talk about anything. I'm going to expose this flaws in the system, and I'm going to keep giving you guys daily video vlogs about what's happening to me. And you can find out if I'm crazy. You can find out if NDIS wipes my ass and wants to give me a $300,000 budget next week. You can find out if they bring it down. If they agree with me that the $180,000 budget they've suggested I received in the mail is a load of shit and I shouldn't be receiving it and I don't want it. I just want a full-time job. I want to work for myself. I want a judge to give me respect, stop treating me different than a woman with false claims, give me a percentage that should be half of my son, and let me continue with my own life. Not stereotype me, not just put me in jail because I'm a man. Remand, by the way, not a charge. And then just let my wife have 100% of everything, my son, my assets, in my entire life. There is nothing in my life I can get that is any more important to me than my son. I can't just move on and get another one. I need this son back before I can continue my life in any way. And I'm not ashamed of that. And I don't think I'm mentally weak because of that. I'm very proud of myself. And I think my son will stand next to me and he'll cry one day when he possibly finds out about this and watches something like these videos. And he'll say, thank you, Daddy, for never giving up. Because maybe somebody did something bad, a judge, mummy, but you loved me, Daddy, and you kept fighting, and no matter what anyone told you you could or couldn't have, you said fuck you and you kept going, and you went and got your son back one day eventually. I love you, my son. I love you, JJ, and I don't care if making these videos gets me put in jail. I'm not going to stop. The day I get out, I'll continue making them, and I'll continue exposing how I'm a great loving father. I go out, I give to charity never-endingly, I do volunteer work never-endingly. I think I'm a smarter than average person. I didn't say perfect. Average, smarter than average. And I'm going back to this Christian church down the street for the second time with my emergency housing and accommodation. And all the people there are incredibly nice to me. And I'm going to keep giving back what they give to me and supporting everyone around me. And I'll try and find more volunteer work. But fuck you, mother-in-law. Fuck you, wife with illegal claims. Fuck you, judge, giving everything away to a woman and saying the man is automatically bad, who never even replied to your claims because his lawyer doesn't help him. I'm not scared. I've got nothing left to lose. You've taken my whole life from me. You've taken 100% of my money. You've taken 100% of my son I haven't seen in over 2 years. Fuck you, legal system. I'm not scared. Put me in jail. I don't care. I'm never going to stop telling this story, and I'm never going to stop saving it on a hard drive and on the internet. And one day I'll show it to my son, and the only person that's going to suffer in pain in the end is my son, because his loving dad that he wanted to know who he was and be with him was kept away from him for so long, possibly. So either I'll have my son back in 6 months, or all my rights will be finalized as forfeited and I won't get to see my son until he's 15 years of age, where he legally gets to choose where he sleeps each night, where he resides. 40 minutes, fuck, that's a long video. Thank you to all the subscribers. Thank you to the people with positive comments. Thank you to the people telling me you've been through the tough times. Thank you to the people giving me advice. I love yous all. It helps me a lot. And by the time I post this video, there's probably another 3 subscribers. Thank you guys, you're really helping me. And I'm gonna keep going. I don't think they think I'm crazy and entertaining. I do think they understand what I'm talking about, and they agree that I'm doing the right thing as a loving father and a person that's not weak, fighting for minimum rights, not for insanity demands. I've got to keep moving. I found a way to go to Bunnings and refund $45 worth of items so I can afford my food. NDIS has a $180,000 budget, but they can't help me live in a better house and not need to waste all my money so much trying to get my son back. Oh well. At least my NDIS provider today found out information from myself that I dug up, and that's that I'm entitled to have my son, and there's ways in which we can do that. And I told my NDIS provider today, if you're not going to help me do that and communicate with a lawyer and communicate with disability support services, which can help coordinate with me to remember with my bad memory my legal rights and how to give other people information, it's like Brain Injury Network, places like that. I said to my NDIS provider, if you're not going to help link me up with the brain injury legal help, whatever it's called, can't remember, memory disability, if you're not going to do that, I'm just going to change my NDIS provider because I've got nothing left to lose. I don't want your 180 grand. I don't understand what it's about in your budget. I don't care where I live. I don't care what clothes I wear. I want my son back. If you're not going to help me with that, I'm changing providers. So the woman from my NDIS kind of shit her pants. She was a bit pissed off with me, but she understood my perspective, I think. And she spent half the day on the phone with me today. She told me she'd call me back, but she hasn't. So I'm going to end this recording and I'm going to jump straight back on top of her and pester her to help me. And if she doesn't want to, she doesn't have to. But fuck his old government. I am not giving up seeing my son. I'm not giving up trying hard. The day that I wake up and go to sleep and I didn't do something to get my son back is the day you put me in jail or the day I'm dead. And even if I'm in jail, I'm still gonna do these things. I don't care what any judge says to me. I'm not gonna forfeit my rights to have my son for false claimed reasons that were illegally not responded to and illegally not giving me the right to reply to false claims and present evidence to prove false claims just because of my disability. Fuck you, South Australian government. Thank you to people out there offering me support. Thank you to the people out there offering me employment. I'm going to keep doing these videos and working hard every single day, and you'll know that I'm a good guy, I'm a great dad, and everything I say is correct and true. I'm not a brain-dead, stereotypical bogan who just wants to beat up some extra wife or blame people for his own social incompatibility and lack of ability to control violence and to raise a son. I'm role model parent. See you guys next time, alright? Please like, subscribe, and thank you. Last time I looked, I had about 18 subscribers, and when I woke up this morning there was 14. And when I post this video and I go to sleep tonight, I got a feeling there's going to be 24. Thank you guys, you're making me feel so much stronger. Keep doing it. Please give me your advice, and I'm going to win this, and you guys are going to help me. And when I win this, I'm going to be standing next to people like frickin' Pauline Hanson as an example of someone that went through this unnecessary trauma, which was illegal and should never have been allowed to happen. And I'm going to help all the other men out there that lost their children through a woman playing victim falsely and making false illegal claims against her male partner to keep the kids away from him for years on end, and he loves them and he's traumatized by it by the rest of his life, for the rest of his life. I'm going to help those guys out, and I'm going to help them get their kids back. And final note, I'm not aggressive or angry or blaming towards my wife in any way. I don't blame her for anything. I do blame the mother-in-law, and I do blame my lawyers for not helping me and just doing a lazy ass job and letting me forfeit all my rights illegally at your requests. NDIS is helping me. I have a couple of friends that are helping me do the paperwork, and lawyer who forfeited all my rights to my son. I'm going to fuck you up if it's the last thing I do, because it was against my wishes and it was done illegally. See you guys next time. Please like, please subscribe, and keep supporting me, and I'm going to keep doing these videos until I get my son back, until I help people out, or until they gag me and try to put me in jail. Love you guys. Bye. Stay safe, look after everyone. The way that you can protect your rights the most is to keep people around you, look after your friends, and ask your friends to look after you.